going to show us our Madrid track. You know, this was a really interesting challenge for us because we really wanted to do something different for the Wii with Need for Speed. You know, previous ones have been really about ports, but this one, it really focused a lot of effort on sensation of speed, keeping at 60 frames per second, making sure we really had something that was completely over the top. And as you can see, Seb's in the first place now. And when you customize your car, you get to customize an avatar that you can post on the world and sort of own the world, which is the ultimate bragging rights. So that's what we call an Own It feature. The game is really also about Nitro, which basically is the title of the game. And you can earn Nitro in multiple ways, by drifting, by drafting, and also driving it without colliding with anything. That's one of the main mechanics. Another main mechanic is we have repair. So when your car gets damaged, you don't get nitrous, but you have to repair it. And then one of the really interesting main mechanics we really wanted to work with was the cops. Basically, how it worked with the cops is that after the second lap, the first 4 players have a cop after them. But then we have a siren pickup that you can put a cop on an opponent and reduce your heat at the same time. So that's sort of our leveling mechanic.
Now, obviously vehicles themselves have been a huge part of the Need for Speed franchise. What are you guys packing in here?
So we have over, I would say, about 30 licensed cars from European to North American. And we have some other surprises in the pack that we'll leave it till the game comes out. And then we have the standard customizable decals, parts. We also have morphing with the car. You can morph the parts with your Wii remote. So, you know, we really wanted to give a full package to the gamer, you know, not give them a dumbed down version of Need for Speed.
It definitely looks like it's super fast. That's
yes,
for sure.
Really, sensation of speed really is the key thing for our product. And, you know, running at 60 frames per second for us is really a key component. Because, you know, for us, a racing game really needs to be that responsive time at 60 frames per second.
Now I see how Seth is holding that controller in his hand, and he's just kind of tilting it back and forth, rotating it side to side to steer, and then he waggles it to kick in the nitro. Is that pretty much the one and only standard config you have?
We have a variety of controls. Maybe Seth wants to explain a little bit of the controls.
A very accessible casual controller I'm using here. We also support the Wii Wheel, the classic controller, the nunchuck, and the GameCube controller as well. It's really however you want to play, and all of those control methods, you know, there's no difference there. If you're good at the game on one, you know, it's equal. It doesn't matter which controller you have.
That needs to give something for everybody, right?
Yeah, totally.
Without excluding the gamer.
Now, on the Wii, obviously, multiplayer has always been big fun. What are you guys doing in terms of multiplayer action? Anything there?
We have 4-way split screen. We don't have online. I mean, we really wanted to focus on getting the control, sensation of speed, and the core mechanics, polish that. And then, you know, hopefully if there's another iteration, we'll do online. But we have 4-way split screen, and we have a bunch of interesting game modes that could be really interesting to play with your friends.
Excellent. Now, if you guys don't mind, let's talk about tracks for a second.
Sure.
Tracks are the other big part of Need for Speed franchise. What are you guys packing in?
So we have, you know, the story basically for this game is that, you know, you start off at Rio in the favelas with a really crappy car, you know, you're poor, and then you have to build up through all different cities that you've never raced before and seen in any racing games. And then you end up in Dubai, and Dubai is like sort of the ultimate reward, racing against all these exotic Lamborghinis, Porsches. And that's sort of really, we have cities that are, you know, Singapore, Madrid, Dubai, and a couple of other ones.
Do you mind if I start throwing some questions from the audience toward your way?
By all means.
Thank you. All right. Let's see here. Cover the cars, cover the maps, which I'm sure we'll see a lot of multiple questions coming from people. Oh yeah, this is actually a really good question. JD out of Charlotte wants to know, will there be a variety of music that plays during the race, or will there be one main song? Because obviously Need for Speed in its history has had a lot of different music tracks in there.
We're working on a variety of musics. You know, definitely Need for Speed is about a culture, you know, racing culture, underground culture. So we're working on some really interesting things when it comes to music. Not to be disappointed, Charlotte.
No, definitely not. You touched on this for a second, but I'll bring it up again with this question that comes from Dima Rudinsky. I'm lying to you. Denise out of Romania. You talked about the car customization a little bit and how you can manipulate it using the Wiimote. You want to talk a little bit more about that?
Yeah, so, you know, you'll pick your own car, and then after that you could decide if you want to put a decal on it like the standard Need for Speed. But we wanted to add something really accessible as well that had the depth. So you can pick a decal and then stamp decals on your car with the Wii remote.
Oh, wow.
And then you could also morph parts. by moving the Wii remote. So we really wanted to give something to everybody, and we felt that there's not many racing games out there that really give the depth that we will be able to give, and also the customization with the Wii remote. So, you know, we didn't want to take away the things from Need for Speed and say, okay, we're not going to do this because it's a Wii. We really wanted to make sure that we gave everything and plus with all the Need for Speeds I have.
Another thing you touched on as well that I'll bring up again with this question from Camilo Bernal out of Toronto, Ontario. The cops. You talked about the cops a little bit. Is there straight up a cop pursuit mode as we've seen in the past?
Yes, so we're going to have on one of our multiplayer modes, it's basically Eliminator. Basically, you'll be able to hit checkpoints, and the person who doesn't hit the checkpoint last will turn into a cop, and then they'll be like, all of a sudden you can have 8 cops after one person. So it's going to be interesting fun.
Very nice. We've seen something similar like that in the series before, right?
Yes. But with our own twist to it.
Right on. Let's go over those game modes right now. Ryan out of Belmont wants to know, what are the different game modes?
So we have the typical race, we have team race, we have the cop pursuit mode, and then we have, in the actual career mode, multiple challenges, say over about 130 challenges where you have to gain points to gain rewards. So drifting challenges, boosting challenges that really will keep the player wanting to play on a regular basis to try to grind and keep getting points, to buy new cars, to buy new parts, just to get more rewards.
Now, what about the rewards that you actually do get? Just
cars, parts, decals, unlocking new tracks.
And you guys have handle that like, economy. They earn a certain amount of points, and then they get to spend those points?
Exactly. And then if you notice, we have style points. Maybe Seb, if you want to talk about a little about the style points.
Yeah, you get points for drifting, drafting other cars, just for kind of being cool when you race, basically. So your objective when you race is to come first, but also to win those points. And that will help you in the meta game and unlock new rewards.
Chris Tucker out of Indiana wants to know, do cars take damage and keep it?
Yeah, so how it works with the damage is that there's 3 levels of damage. You can get scratched, break your window, and then also what happens is your star cards to shake, so you break the rear lights. And what happens is that when you're damaged, you can acquire boosts, which is your main way of winning the race. But then you have a wrench pickup that you use to repair your car back to full normal. So, you know, the main 2 things are about the damage and the cop pickups, and that's, you can sort of have a strategy and build up how you want to build up to sort of play the game.
Seth, I've got a quick question for you. You mentioned the different control methods that you have in there. Is this your personal favorite out of them?
Yeah, right now.
Yeah.
Well, Seb has been working really hard. I mean, I joined the team about 8-9 months ago, but Seb was with the team way before me, and they've been working really hard in creating the prototype just to get this controlled for quite a while, and it really pays off.
That's what you wanted. You can hold the beer in your other hand.
You'd mentioned that there is no online play. It is all offline here. Are you guys doing anything online in terms of any kind of downloadable stuff at all or anything?
That's undecided, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd like to focus the efforts on the main game, the core experience.
Speaking of the core experience, in that single-player campaign career mode, as you're going through it, obviously the cops are in there, right? They're going to try to get you?
Yes, and you know, in every city you have the cops which are authentic to the city.
Yeah.
So, you know, in Dubai you'll have the cops that look like it's in the city, and then they gradually get difficult, so there's 3 tiers of cops. So they'll get more difficult as we go.
Philip Montero out of Sao Paulo, he wants to say that the game looks great.
Thank you.
And is curious to know, is this a new engine or is it an existing engine?
It's an existing undercover engine, and you know, the reason why the game looks great and plays great is because we had a really great team in Montreal that put this together, and we really want to thank them for the hard work.
Let's see here. I don't know if you want to, but if you want to spoil a little bit of the story to give us a taste, Matan Avani out of Israel wants to know, what is the story?
The story basically is, you know, you start off in Rio, and it's not a story like all the Need for Speed games I've had before. It's more of an applied narrative. You start off in Rio, and then you got to get a better car, and you'll meet street racers throughout the tracks that you got to beat, and then you end up in Dubai getting the ultimate challenge to win. And, you know, it's an interesting story, but it's really not a story. So Mario Kart has an implied narrative to it, but that's what we're working on right now. So it's going to be interesting.
Excellent. Now, exclusive to the Wii, obviously.
Yeah.
When do you guys plan to release?
The fall, if I'm correct, the exact date should be around Thanksgiving, American Thanksgiving.
Nice. Now, even though we've answered the question of that there's 30 cars that are licensed in this game,
Sure.
everybody keeps on asking more about the cars. Do you guys want to show them off if possible? Or show some of them off?
We have the Audi R8, and also if you want, Seb, we can show the Mustang